Thank you all for coming tonight, and welcome to the Contro-Verse, Malden's, well, possibly only current open mic. I am one of your hosts. My name is Anna. I will be here tonight helping you out along with Jeff Taylor, Ethan Mackler, our friend Chris back in the booth, and Kathleen Jeff, what are you... If this is your first night, I sure hope so, because this is our first night and I don't need to deal with any time travelers. There may be some bumps along the way. Let me explain how this works. We are doing a round-robin open mic. Everybody will be able to do one poem per round, unless you have haikus, in which case we ask you to keep it a little bit short. We'll probably have 2 rounds tonight, possibly 3, depending on how many folks we have interest and how, I guess, productive we can be. Productive isn't the right word. Anyway, it's gonna be a chaotic mess. It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be controversial. I am very glad to have you all here, and I'm gonna give it away to Jeff.
This is I'm not, but I am. One. Oh, that doesn't sound like it. I'm not campaigning to be president, but I'm building my library. I'm not the founder of a social network, but I'm wearing a hoodie. I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth, but I talk like a sitcom philosopher. I'm not a spy, but I'm chain smoking. I didn't go to flight school, but I'm a stoner. I didn't find God, but I married my best friend. I'm not a cult leader, but my children love me. I didn't consider myself an alcoholic, but I over-celebrated every minor holiday. I didn't create change, but I'm listening to podcasts. I'm not the heavyweight world champion, but I beat myself up. I didn't make the All-American team, but I know how to play the game. I'd be a terrible waiter, but I'll bring you what you ask for.
Next up, we have an entry from our open mic. Rat, are you in the room? Let's get you up here, sir.
Hey, everybody. If you wanted to see what 30 years of poetry looks like, it's in this bag. And out of this bag, I filled the one poem that I didn't think I was going to do. So, hey, that's kind of cool. Come on here. It's so nice. All right. Before I got here, I really had to shit really bad. And this poem is about taking a shit. It's called We're the Worst Asses in the World of Shat. It's an hour before my M-Tells, and I have to shit. We're supposed to arrive a half hour before to fill out paperwork and with traffic and all that. So I figured I'd rather arrive early than late. I park and rock over, and they're not open. I tried the door for the bathroom, and it's locked. So I head down the street, looking for a place to shit. Nothing's open. I see a large municipal building, Department of Education. I walk over and see it's all security guards and hassle, so I walk back to the testing facility and still closed and the bathroom's still locked. At this point, it's becoming a shit or shit yourself situation. I head over the other way, and there's another large municipal building at the other end. I go inside and quickly find a bathroom behind the scenes, and it's locked, of course. I see there's a coffee shop downstairs where there's food, there's bathrooms. So I head downstairs and find a restroom. And there's a sign on the door that says it opens at 8:30. Well, I don't have that kind of time, but the door opens anyways, and I am excited. But this place is disgusting. There are 2 stalls, officially. One without a door that someone is currently in, and he's currently pissing all over the inside. Nothing is getting into the toilet. And then I squeeze myself into the other stall and instantly regret it. The toilet is terrifying. And the only thing I can think of is this is where the worst asses in the world have sat on this toilet to take a shit. There was a hole in the wall behind the toilet, and I'm just waiting for a rat to run out of it. I instantly am greeted with graffitied walls, all in the same red marker. Things like Hitler rules and why are N-words so dumb and there should be more school shootings. This time they should kill more N-words. And my personal favorite is, have you ever tasted your own cum? Clearly, the best minds of the world write on bathroom walls. So I liberally covered the seat with toilet paper because I don't want to catch anything. Is racism contagious? I hope it's not. And I drop jaw and then gently place my ass in this horrid seat and do my business. Now, I usually enjoy a good shit, and I think everybody does. But this time, it's not enjoyable. Surrounded by disgusting walls, waiting for a cockroach to crawl up my leg. Once done, I'm happy to leave that place, clear it up, but I still feel dirty. I head back to the testing facility, and it's 15 minutes before I'm supposed to be there, and it's still closed, and the bathroom's still locked, and I've never been so happy to have relieved myself, even as if I had to place my ass on the seat where the worst asses in the world have shat. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Kathleen, and this is a poem called America. Albert Einstein appreciated honeybees, their hexagons and dances of isosceles. He knew if they died, so do we. And in the crops, I see the cropsy. The boogeyman Monsanto, Agent Orange's dad, maker of mechanical vegetable inseminators, barotrauma barbaric, air pressure presses, puny bat, hearts, pitter patter, pinch explode. Cell phone, radiation, echolocation, clutter, wings, flutter, echolocation, jam, ban, fish in the river, eating genetically modified chicken litter. Five-legged, seven-eyed dolly sheep, eating peeps. Here, critter, critter. Little Miss America, baking cake batter from a bukkake bowl, all alone, poor thing, blighted by the society that jacked off to her.
Thank you, Kathleen. Next on the open mic is Donna. Donna, are you in the house? Let's get you up here.
With respect to happiness, I don't love life or the world any more than anyone just saved from drowning loves the ocean. Though they may shout, "I love you," to a gull as it ignores them, may watch with sea-stung eyes the chorus of sunlight on the surface, and may, of course, laid out on the suddenly broad back of the monster that has not swallowed them, rejoice to be afloat.
Thank you so much. Next up, we have the man in the studio, Chris Hickey.
Thank you. Chris Hickey. Ghosts of Crisis Present. They should call it the pharmacy that dispenses suspended hopes, situated just there outside the Malden station, a precarious pile of oddities containing $6 half gallons of milk, scratch tickets, Philly blunts, and Totino pizza squares, all marked up like the customers. No profits to be gained, as the owners are owned by habits, spinning out of their atmospheres, burning up, dying embers looking for oxygen to sustain their burn, a gauntlet of souls reminding passers-by to work hard and consume. Walking through the truth with averted eyes and a failed understanding of how short the distance is from indulgence to dependence. Just 6 letters, really. Worker bees flitting over the walking dead, pretending that they are not walking dead. Call it charade, or self-deception, or the American dream. The concept resorts to manifesting itself as a nightmare. This is where they congregate, to compare slights, hold communion, and validate their shared fear of the reality pounding down on their furrowed brain lobes. Safety in numbers, proprietary sobriety, survival. We are all dying from drugs of our own choosing. Illusion of free will. Our humanity pushes us toward the path of less suffering. At times temporary, times momentary, times any attempts to lessen the blow only amplifies the result. Anger rises in the belly when looking at the train wreck, adorned in tracksuits covering up track marks, rigid eyelids closed to right the dizzy, swaying back and forth like the metronome in piano class. No notes to lead the stanza, just a repetitive echo of need, need, need. A white woman talking to 2 black men doing her best Rachel Dolezal. No matter how hard it seems, it is imperative to love these folks the most. They are in need. Need. They, like Andy Dufresne, want to live in a warm place with no memory. Empathy replaced by disbelief at how far this could go. We take turns facing each other for a while, and we wait, and we shake our heads. How could they? Then we reach for the escape in our pockets. Suddenly, faces lit up in hypnotic blue by screens, selling dreams. All knowledge at our fingertips, but curiosity is deadened by sound bites and Snapchats and terabytes of tease bits stringing you along further down the rabbit hole. False carrot. Non-thinker, kitchen sinker. Dependency requires a tiny leap. Once started, inertia completes complacency. The truth residing in the back of my skull in a place I cannot reach, much like the fact that I can't kiss my elbow. I'm that person. I'm no different. I need. There but for the grace of an arbitrary void of nothingness go I. I'm compelled to pick up my phone. I'm lonely, I need a hit. Push the instrument into my hand and pull the fingers across the glass. Let my sentience mix with the content of the glass and open the window to my soul. The first hit was unlike anything. Haven't been able to find its equal. Why fight? Wi-Fi. False high. Surfing the pitter-patter of nothing matter, antimatter. I'm a junkie like my brothers, waiting in a line outside the local pharmacy for the dispersal of suspended hopes. I need.
Thank you, Chris. Next up, from the list, we have Kittay.
Hello. So, I'm here with a poem, but also a message. This is only my experience and my sister's experience. Everything that I'm about to say is true. And the place that my sister was sent to was called Hogan Regional Center in Danvers, Massachusetts. There was a worker who was recently arrested for killing one of the patients that was there. These people have special needs, and I feel like I need to spread awareness on this. So this is my poem. My sister was taken from my family and I, against our wishes and against what was in her best interest, because we couldn't control her self-destructive habits of skin picking and consistent tantrums. She had autism, and we couldn't get her to understand how she was doing herself damage due to some barriers around communication. Nor could the hospitals. Mass General Hospital wanted to try shock therapy on her, but we refused to that kind of experiment. So, a summons was sent and delivered. We got the letter, and we won that case. We were beyond grateful that she was saved from a fate that she probably would have experienced had I or my family not been there to advocate. If she were property of the state. After our win, MGH began limiting our visits, and we weren't allowed to see her as frequently as we could previously. Suddenly they claimed our visits disturbed her and that she'd cry for hours upon hours after we'd leave. Well, I probably would have too. If I couldn't speak up for myself, and my family, who I was used to always having by my side, who were my voice, were abruptly told to leave, how is that fair to her and her sanity? To limit her interactions with the only ones who understood her and her needs, because the workers viewed a visit with the only people who knew how to speak up for her as rewarding bad behavior. Can you just imagine? Within a month after winning that case, came another letter summoning us to court, once more to revoke my mother's guardianship. And we lost. They put a temporary guardian in place who never even saw her face, but sent her back to the same place we begged her not to send her to. The first time that she went to Hogan Regional Center in Danvers, Massachusetts in 2017, she returned home with even more issues than when she left. And her list of medications had tripled. She was urinating and defecating herself. Her OCD worsened, suffered from nightmares every single night. Clearly, she was severely traumatized. The second time in 2019, we weren't allowed to go see her in person for a month so she could adjust. 2 days before we were going to be allowed to see her in person again, she passed of a heart attack, most likely induced from all of the sedatives that they pumped into her because they weren't able to handle her behaviors, and drugging her out was easier. She had no prior health issues. She was only 29. They thought we wouldn't notice. We were allotted 2 FaceTimes per week, but only on their fixed schedule. And each time, she was slumped over in her chair like an addict that had lost their soul. That was not the sister I had known. She couldn't focus. She cried. I know she must have felt like a zombie, frozen in this lifetime, trapped with nowhere to run or hide. Thank you.
When we organized this open mic, one of the things that we did was remember that people are different heights. No, I apologize. Not to make light. We opened up this microphone to make sure that people were able to share their authentic selves and stories in a supportive environment. Thank you all for being here. I'm going to be wrapping up round 1, and we will have a round 2 after a brief musical interlude. One day, your fingers will forget, cast off every cursed autocorrect, fall back into their old patterns, or find exciting new ones far away from what's been hammered into you. The gray matter of your fingertips, the muscle memory of your hands are no more permanently fixed than the length of your hair, the words on your lips. What has been done to you can be remade in a shape of your own choosing, just as soon as you get away. One day, the wild spaces of your mind that they have colonized will grow back beautiful and free under your tender care. With intent or by accident, you will bloom into who you were meant to be. Your callous skin will grow back soft. Your hardened heart will open wide. You will stop hearing their words in your voice as you let slip your mask for customer service. The teeth of the cog they tried to grind you into will wear down, and you will again be smooth curves and wild curls in every shape that did not fit the holes they tried to shove you in. If you are dragging your ass through a 9 to 5 or a 6 to 2, please know that I love you. And if you are crawling bloody-kneed through another month, another week, remember I am quadrupedal too. Let me light a candle. Let me hold your hand. Let this tiny flickering flame, a stranger in the dark, guide you back to your own path, one stumbling step at a time. Through today, through tomorrow, 2 steps forward for everyone back. Believe. There will be a final time you leave, and every scribble that you left is the only bit of you that needs to stay. until nobody remembers your handwriting, until the last sticky note is thrown away. Someone else will bear this weight, and another again, until the building burns down, until bankruptcies and bailouts and endings of no concern to you now. Every burden they put on your cognition, every worry they laid at your feet, every unpaid hour, favor, plea is their problem from now on. Believe. It's only 2 weeks. Everyone give it up for Ethan Massler. Who's ready for round 2? Thank you for coming out tonight. Again, this is the Contro-Verse open mic. If you want to be on the open mic and you didn't put your name on the list out front, that's not a you problem. Please come and bother me so I can put you on the list. Up next, we have Jeff, if he can figure out what he's doing. There he is. Everybody get up. Judge Taylor.
This one is left a hole. When I commemorated the anniversary of Kurt Cobain's suicide with a Facebook post, Sean commented with a story about how Ben and Jerry's gave out free ice cream cones on Jerry Garcia's death anniversary, jump-starting a conversation about the commodification of dead celebrities, with a story ending with no one in line knew any Dead songs. The meta bullshittery of the whole occurrence has me wondering if that means Purdue Pharma will be giving out free opiates on the streets of Seattle. Which pharma brand will commemorate the junk-sick street kid who died before he put out his first album? Will they hire a field team? Will doctors promise to overprescribe? Will a radio station offer free therapy to the first caller? On the road home from Aberdeen, all our on the road home from Aberdeen, all our arms taste like scars.
Next up, do we have a rat in the house? Does the rat have a second poem? Let's do it!
Hi, it's me again. How are you? How's everybody doing? This is a poetry book called Haiku of Horror, and I picked this because for two reasons. One, for Ethan. He's a big fan of Haiku of Horror. And two, because it's Linda Blair's birthday today. And so this is the poem, series of haiku that started the whole thing, because I realized Your Mother Sucks Cocks in Hell is 7 syllables. So this is called What an Excellent Day for an Exorcism, and they're all haiku. 12-year-old Reagan, playing with the Ouija board, Captain Howdy friend. Her bed is shaking. She can't sleep because of it. Noises in the house. At dinner party, Reagan tells someone they'll die, then pisses on rug. Doctors test Reagan, a battery of exams, they find nothing wrong. Things are getting worse, having savage convulsions, thrown all over bed. Director visits. Reagan snaps his neck, kills him, throws him out window. Psychiatrist comes, he hypnotizes the girl, grabs him by the balls. Lieutenant arrives, questioning director's death, thinks it's a murder. Later that evening, objects fly round Reagan's room, violent chaos. Mother at wit's end. Doctor says she should see a priest for an exorcism. Atheist believes mom doesn't know where to run, must help her daughter. Doorbell rings one night. Priest is here to see the girl. He deems her unclean. Screaming from upstairs, I've seen things to crucifix. Let Jesus fuck you. Tied down to bed, 2 priests begin ritual, Pazuzu laughing. Holy water bless. Power of Christ compels you, burning like acid. Incantation reads, Your mother sucks cocks in hell. You're a faithless slime. Father Marin dies. Karras offers himself up. Come into me, damn you. Priest jumps out window to keep from killing the girl. The spirit has left. Reagan and Mom move. Lieutenant leaves case unsolved. Event unexplained.
Hello. So, this poem is called Our Night Out. It's a villanelle. I've had a lot of friends pass away, so this is kind of like an homage to all of them. I spray painted my name inside a heart across the walls of an empty pool. Took a nap in the dead leaves huddled in the deep end. Finished the pack of Marlboro Reds that belonged to my dead friend. Spray painted his name inside of a heart with wings. Drank a 5th of Johnny Walker, lit a candle and dumped a shot in the dirt for him. Took a nap in the darkest shadows of the cemetery. Later, drank a quart of King Cobra and sang Bikini Kill to the full moon from the roof. Vomited SpaghettiOs and secrets on my neighbor's stoop. Do you believe in ghosts? I do, though I still feel silly writing them letters and playing their favorite records. When I dream about dead friends, I pretend they're visiting me. I say, my gosh, I haven't seen you in so long, and we play frisbee and smoke weed and get married, spray paint our names inside a heart along the walls of an empty pool, kiss in the deep end until I remember you're all dead. Thank
Thank you, Kathleen. Next up, we have Donna. Donna, are you here? Do you have a second? Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do that. I let Satan back into my life. He's slouched in one of the kitchen chairs, resting a beetle red elbow on the table, which smolders gently between prior scorch marks and gouges. And I, who'd finally hauled almost all his things down all the stairs to the dumpster, feel heat between my eyes. I took his call, opened the door, and he's here, looking vacantly at the fridge with its one additional magnet and the quarter-full pot of coffee. Satan back in my kitchen. The cool distance I had built starts to itch as it crumbles away. It smells like smoke in here. He had this party trick, toasting marshmallows in his bare hands. I have to have eaten more s'mores than most adults. My friends' friends must be sick of them. I pour the rest of the coffee and try it room temperature. So, I say. What's good? He flinches. Sorry, I say. Sorry. Forgot. But his brow has already turned from overcast to stormy. Bad day in New England. I can do this. I did for years, and it's just a few months this time, I was assured. There are worse roommates. He's quiet. He's so quiet. Hardly says anything, really. And neither of us brought home many guests. I can just open some windows. And I should. There's a headache coming on. It's my fault. Probably dehydrated, too much caffeine. Happens every weekend. He looks at me, and the kitchen light goes out. His face is handsome, half lit in an afternoon sunbeam from the window, softened by haze. He says, "You didn't pay the utility bill." "No," I say, "that's true. Thank you."
Hello again. Nupa Cools. Bufus dabs her Nupa Cools in the Vegas Chotsky ashtray. Her today hopes crushed along with the filter nub. Bufus calls them Nupa Cools, even though there is no such thing as Nupa Cools. Harlan gets her Nupa Cools for her. She has an arrangement with Mr. Graves at the package store. She's known him all her life. Mr. Graves allows her son to pick up cigarettes even though Harlan's underage. It is one of the few kindnesses that exist to her. She used to go for her mother's cigarettes when she was a girl. Bufus don't get out much. Hot pink bingo daubers and snow globes of shitty places where it doesn't snow surround her and are the only reminders of her past adventures. Those in Harlan, of course. A soiled bandana gathers momentum across her enormous nape of neck. Getting out of the chair requires too great an effort. Another day. Droning infomercial plays on and convinces her that she needs that square copper red all-purpose nonstick pan as she lights another Nupa Cool. Harlan appears chocolate-faced and doughy. Bufus plunges a measured thumb into her maw and licks the tip, beckoning Harlan to come closer with her smoking hand. The bait is taken, the boundary crossed. Harlan takes his leave with fresh saliva sheath, made up of equal parts disappointment, menthol, and egg salad residue. It thrives underneath each nostril, right where he can be reminded that Mama loves him. Somewhere later that night, Harlan counts the sheep that leap from onion patches into the lingering phantoms of Nupa Cool secondhand smoke. Bufus redeems nothing. Bufus reduces nothing. Blame is plenty, and all that men are good for. The remote taunts her over there on the floor, just out of reach. All seems out of reach. Bufus dabs a frustrating butt into the tray. No one calls. Her mama gone to cancer. The veins on her legs are purple and invasive. They hurt. The crisp cardboard pack slaps against her pudgy digits, and a sortie escapes to her mouth, expertly caught, expertly lit, inhaled, deep down into places reserved for guilt. She coughs. The next pull affirms the moment, and she shifts to her left with some well-earned ease. The droning set leads off to a distant place she's never been, nor will ever be able to get to.
Thank you, Chris. Next up, we have somebody who is setting up a couple things. Kittay, come on up on stage.
This is a poem that I wrote earlier today. Trauma gets poured down our throats like a newborn drinking its mother's milk. We are told it makes us stronger, yet that is false. Trauma can make us feel bitter withdrawn, forlorn, victims of our mental health, scared to reach out. Nobody feels good after a traumatic experience, but through self-work and, if needed, therapy, we can push through it, working out the painful memories associated with our negative experiences. Then, we will find ourselves walking down the road to healing our pain, nurturing ourselves, our hearts and brains from the neglect they obtained, and in exchange, we become stronger with the ability to share our truths, a possibility to help others who are going through what we've once gone through too. Poetry can tell an entire story in just a few minutes, which is beautiful because we can reach people who don't have the attention span to read an entire book. Instead, we form a novel with the words we provide in a simplified design. The way spoken word artists have this ability to keep my mind a hostage so I can bear witness to the greatest few minutes that they extend will never cease to amaze me. I become one with their words, unable to divert my attention, because I feel like I'm having a spiritual intervention. Like my spirit guides have embodied these very people around me for the moment so they can get me to pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention. There's an abundance of wisdom that floats in the air when we open our mouths to spread our messages. And it's when we are fully invested in listening and observing that we can understand the sentiment behind each story relayed to us. Reflections of our own selves and lives that are hidden right between the lines between you and I.
All right, folks, I have good news. I have two pieces of good news, actually. One is that we have enough time for round 3, so if you are on the open mic and you have a third thing, get it ready. And 2, this is the audience participation portion of the evening. I have 2 pieces here. I'm only going to read one of them tonight. You have to choose between Revival and Molotov Craft Table. Go on, shout it out. Which one you want? I got 2 for Molotov Craft Table. It's happening. I see you curled up in blankets for the weight, not the warmth. A million projects floating and nothing complete. Grand dreams getting further every day as you wear the rut that is becoming your life. Headphones on to make bearable the day. All that driving music you listen to, what is it driving you towards? That epic sense of meaning and accomplishment you chase to the detriment of your rent and stability. That feeling you cannot shake that you were made for more than this. I see you. Consuming revolutionary media, eyes wide, ears open, lost in worlds you cannot inhabit. Post-apocalypse, post-peak, crumbling concrete, bombed out aesthetic. Your heart yearning for endings and the new beginnings that follow. Loss and sorrow so real you can taste it. Sucker roots spreading from your toes and the fingers into the fertile soil of someone else's fantasy. The world is on fire now. The villains are already here, and still you sit like a bad wolf eating chips, body paralyzed, mind screaming, do something, but never a clue what something is, only the unbearable pressure of intolerable conditions. I see you, I see you, I see you. This is not going to be forever, but you know the longer you wait, the worse it will be. Everything you ever procrastinated on, the same story. Scream, even a little. Even if you have to put it in a pillow or couch it as a song, scream before you forget how, before the pipes rust away forever. You have so much in front of you, and you must do it. You are going to have to vote, and you're going to have to talk about who you're voting for. You are going to have to show up to call and complain, and it still might not be enough. You might have to march. You might have to put your body between a motorcycle and a crowd of kids. You might have to drag someone back from the shield wall line. You might have to man the Molotov craft table. You might be the one at home cooking post-protest pasta. You may be the one with the vehicle on call for extraction. You may end up bringing pizza to the police station for the ones getting bailed out. You may end up washing pepper spray out of someone's eyes or blood. I see you. Your fears so founded, your icebergs looming, your moments of heartbreaking clarity, your periods of resentful rest. And this call is here, now, when you need it. Before you needed it, after you will need it, forever and always across the cross-section of your existence, the thread bringing you back, reminding you who you are, reminding you that initiation never ends. Now take a breath. Now take a step. Now leave a path for your past self to see. Now pack a snack for your future self to eat. The stars have always been right. The veil is always thin. The best time to plant a tree is always now. I see you. Get started.
I'm going to invite Ethan to play with me on this one, if he wants to. See how that works. This is Zeno's paradox. The first brick felt like a toaster, only louder, more romantic about the way it leaves things. I could tell by the way the edges had worn, by the way the red was pink, that it had taken the wrong shape somehow, that this brick was meant to be a kitchen appliance. 2, 3, 4. The fifth brick was held together by mortar, slapped across the exposed wide side in a way I could tell the work had been done just after lunch. The sixth brick was so covered in smut, I could hardly tell it was there. A woman in a blue pantsuit was standing on the seventh, wondering why my gate was a crawl. She had a fake tattoo of a cross across her left forearm. The top part of the yellow vertical line had flaked off in a way it looked like a capital T. I told her my last name is Taylor, but this seemed to puzzle her further. 8, 9, 10, and 11 is 2 ones put together, a couple of the loneliest numbers on a date. It rained yesterday, encrusted a worm to brick 12. I picked at it. The worm came off easily. When I tapped on the 13th, it sounded hollow, like maybe Whitey Bulger was hiding under there. Before I got to a 14, a mosquito flew in my eye and was squished to death with a squint of my lash. I almost skipped ahead to the 15th while I was pulling pieces of broken toothpicks from under my skin. I dripped blood onto brick 16, pooled and crusted into my eye. The plasma proved to improve my vision. 50, 75, 100, suffering from separation anxiety. Brick 101 cracked a clean split when I rubbed it with my index finger. Romance means nothing to bricks. Heartless fucks, every one of them. 102 was painted blue. It reminded me of the rubber ducky Bert and Ernie used. YES was written on 103. Wiping the dried blood from my right eye with my left forearm, I scratched TERDAY into brick 104 with a piece of glass. 105 had on the suit Napoleon wore at Waterloo. I don't know how they got the blood out, but I've never been one to romanticize the truth. 106 housed a burnt-out roach. The 107th brick smelled like a chick, but never a second time. 150, 200, 300. Number 307 was once licked by Abigail Adams during a game of Truth or Dare. The 308th brick has a family history of being the 308th brick. His father was the 308th brick in the 283rd Battalion during the Korean War. His grandfather was originally intended for the Berlin Wall, but was redirected to a blood bank in Detroit. 309 is wanted for murder. He switched places with 412, who had an alibi for the evening in question. 413 used to be an extra on Banana Splits. 414 wets the bled. I know this kid who used to date this girl who saw brick 415 pass out at 32 Flavors last night. It's really serious. 475, 485, 495. On the first Thursday of every month, 496 serves food to the homeless at the soup kitchen on Essex Street. Brick 497, not unlike my grandmother, hides bottles of apricot brandy all over the house. Brick 498 walks like an Egyptian. Brick 499 has been the chief financial officer of 5bankrupt.coms. 500 is the number of spree one person can eat before puking. 500 was Nelson Riley's SAT score. The summer of 500 was a great year to vacation in the Fertile Crescent. The woman in the blue pantsuit grabbed the 500th brick and swapped it with the 105th. But this is Boston Common, not Waterloo. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's never to trust anyone over the age of 12 who has a fake tattoo.
Quiet, I was in the building, it's fine. Anyway, do we have a rat? Let's get you up here.
I want to thank everybody for having me tonight, and let's give it up for all the poets tonight and people who've done something. This is, I had another poem that I was going to do, and it felt like a slight against Jeff, but it really wasn't anything about him. And this poem is not about any of you, but you definitely know this poet. So it's called Suicide Poetry. He's a graduate of the Shatner School of Poetry Reading with a minor in Adam West. He pulls each word a veteran of the dramatic pause. Ever so important, each word so critical, so smooth is each line. It's almost like sweet cream. But the pause loses the meaning, and the pausing never stops, and the piece grows too long. It's poetic suicide. Thank you very much. I'm Rat.
Hi, this is my last poem for the night. It's called For a Minute There, I Thought We Could Have Been Happy. In a trailer park in a desert, Lassie met her first coyote. The coyote bowed down to her, his ears perked up and bushy tail wagging. She looked in his eyes and saw how they were silver with glimmers of honey. She couldn't help but curtsy and give him a playful bark as if to say, I I dig you too, my dear. He gave her a smile full of fangs so sexy, I dare you to follow me. He dashed off into the ravine, and she sprung after him. She got to the bottom where he disappeared into a forest of prickly pear cacti, their fuchsia bulbs glowing like Chinese paper lanterns. The sunlight was so bright she could only see by squinting. Suddenly, she was slammed on her back, 4 coyotes ripping out her entrails and laughing, dragging her innards through the sand, snagging on the spines of the cactus branches. Coyotes only pretend to play like other dogs when they're starving.
Donna, have you got a third poem for us? We would love to hear it. Give it up.
Underworld. I pull over early to the roadside, tugged by whims past the guardrail, down a slope and further into the marsh. It's a new hobby, making the mistakes that make me smile. A quiet splash, another. They put wetlands next to highways where no one wants to build anything real. Or they build highways through wetlands. The order matters less here than the cool. Peopled is a funny word. What to make of it while wading in the undrinkable? The stems of drive-blurred rushes become distinct, fuzzy but themselves, pale amber dripping with daylight. Had I known? You can just wade out. Nobody stops you. Your baptized thighs from spoiling their own ripples. Greet the damselflies and frogs, get landed on, get eaten alive, give generously. Watch a hawk float on the pillowed afternoon. I keep encountering something less than wonder. All things inhabit themselves. Nothing is peopled. Nothing is built rail by receding rail, filled about with water. Nothing asks in a clear voice, did you want to be free? Do you want to find out? Up past the scree grooved by my heels, traffic goes on. I'm cold, happy to be here, close to home.
Last poem. Crayola Census. When I smell colors, this is what I see. The brown smells like wet cardboard and soggy Rice Krispies languishing in a stodgy bowl and a dirty sink full of dishes. The black smells like licorice, flavored liquor, and settled smoke obscuring my vision on a deathly autumn night that seems to last forever. When I smell colors, this is what I hear. The white smells like vanilla candles burning special on a vanilla birthday frosted cake, too sweet. The red smells like angry acne and sweat from sleepless summer nights of rejected sexual advances, festering in a marriage bed growing towards displeasure. When I smell colors, this is what I taste. The blue smells like the mystery of a shadowed ocean being overlooked by a winter's dark, starry night above. The orange smells like corporate cubicles during rushed-at desk lunches, pills, peeled of pride, and dead inside, clinging the clogged dreams with citrus solutions. When I smell colors, this is what I feel. The green smells like the verdant vegetative estates of spring sprawling out into the forever, ground up for the health drinks consumption. The purple smells like mountains' majesty and spiced plums, bruised by vascular varicose varieties. When I smell colors, this is what I smell. The peach smells like generalized skin tones of nude pantyhose on a Kmart shelf hanging suggestively from a plastic egg packing. The gray smells like the ashes of dead relatives, left on counters at mortuaries and funeral parlors, sealed with precision, so all that is left materially cannot escape order.
Thank you, Chris. Now, Kittay, do you have a third one for us tonight? Fantastic. Come on up.
Live out your dreams. Things don't have to be as dark as they may seem. Don't ignore the truth of reality and the opportunities that you will meet. Along the way, the feelings of doubt will retreat. If you look beyond the horizon, you'll see there's more reasons to live than reasons to die, hon. Don't hide your light, shine it, because others need to find it. When you feel broken and defeated, remember that you're simply going through a stormy season. You have perseverance. Have faith that better days will come. No storm lasts forever. Eventually, the clouds dissipate. The sky illustrates rainbows after the rain, proving that beauty can arise from dark, gloomy days. The way you perceive life can make it feel great, or laced with sorrow, anger, and pain. Don't let the dark thoughts bind and blindside you. You worked so hard to get this far. So don't give in, don't give up. Keep up the fight and hold on when you're on a bumpy ride. Make the most of the time that we have left in this life. Don't waste it away thinking you are already rotted and decayed. So what's the point anyway? You're worth so much more than what you think you deserve. What you give to others will indeed be returned. Make sure you're spreading love while you remain on this earth, even to those who you think don't deserve. Give, but don't overextend, and be sure to protect yourself from sinister intent. You're so much more than a body, more than the color of your skin, and so much more than if you're fat or you're thin. You are consciousness within. You are a beautiful soul. Underneath what resides on the surface, adjust your mirror if you can't see too clearly, so you'll be able to see the true, genuine beauty. It's not your external reflection. It's the person beneath the flesh and the bones. It's the soul inside of you that brilliantly glows.
Thank you so much, Kittay. We are wrapping up the evening. Thank you again, everyone, for being here today. Everyone who performed on the open mic, please give yourselves a hand. Thank you to Urban Media Arts, UMA, and Malden for hosting this amazing event. Thank you to James, who is running around doing way too much to help us. We are supposed to be doing this, sir. You're doing too much work. Thank you to all of our hosts, myself, Jeff, Chris, Kathleen. We've been trying so hard to make this space happen. We are going to continue. This is going to be every second and fourth Monday until such a time as they kick us out of the building or we all get bored. This was written in 2020, but I think it's still relevant. If it feels like people want a lot from you right now, they do. And if it feels like people are being short and snippy, they are. And if it feels like your whole body is revolting against you, it is. All of us are feeling it. It has been a year and then some, and we are not cut out for this shit. We have all been overclocked for too long, all been in crisis mode too long, all trying to do right by everyone for so long, and there is just not enough to go around. Like butter scraped over too much bread, we are wearing thin, we are snapping at each other, we are failing to live up to our unrealistic expectations of ourselves, we are failing to show grace for the failures of others. It's real, it's really happening. You are not imagining things, you are not too sensitive, you are not living in interesting times, and it's just hard to get through. If it feels like your best isn't enough, it isn't. None of us have enough to get through this. All of us are human in the face of overwhelming need and grief and stress, and learning to live with not being enough is, for the task at hand, is painful in good times. Accepting that we will stumble and fall, pivot, and leave bruises in our wake. We're never going to get there because there's no there to get to. None of it is easy, none of it is simple, and it is so human to want to curl up and disengage and get your hackles up and drive folks away and beat yourself up and scream and cry and oh, you are not alone in the troubles right now. It has been the kind of year they tell stories about, the kind of year that lingers for generations, and you are still worthy of love and support and kindness and comfort, even with all of your missteps and iniquities and your scars and the ghosts in your heart. You belong here. You were born for this. It is so much to bear, and you will bear it imperfectly, impatiently, importantly, and every little glorious detail of who you are and how you survive this. I am rooting for you. Keep breathing. Thank you again for everyone being here. Thank you to Ethan!